My name is Christopher, and I have always seen myself as a straightforward, down-to-earth individual, devoted to my family, my career, and the customs that imbued my life with purpose. Yet everything transformed during a weekend that would forever linger in my heart. What began as a simple outing, a casual hunting trip with a stranger, quickly unraveled into something deeper, a favor for my wife that would lead me down an unexpected path. Yet, what transpired in the woods challenged every fiber of my being, broke down the walls I had sworn would remain intact, and compelled me to face long-buried yearnings I never knew existed. I share this not to invite criticism, but because this tale lingers in my mind, and its conclusion remains elusive. Each year, as November's first weekend arrives, it heralds the beginning of deer hunting season, a cherished ritual that stirs deep emotions within me. It transcends mere pastime. It's a sacred practice, a means to break free from the mundane and rekindle a deep bond with the wild. Typically, my wife Emily accompanies me to our secluded hunting cabin, a hidden refuge embraced by 20,000 acres of pristine Missouri wilderness. For more than 10 years, we have poured our hearts into transforming that land into our cherished sanctuary, crafting winding paths, cultivating lush food plots, and refining the cabin to perfection. Yet, this year, everything felt transformed. A few weeks ago, during a quiet dinner, Emily revealed that she wouldn't be accompanying me this time. She found herself chosen to participate in an esteemed gathering focused on transformative educational discussions at the heart of the state capitol. Though I felt a swell of pride for her achievement, the idea of facing my birthday and the hunting opener in solitude cast a shadow over my heart. Typically, I would have been indifferent, but my wife had been unwavering, almost fervent, in her insistence that I shouldn't venture out there alone, especially after the turmoil my heart had faced earlier this year. Her answer, Ava. Ava was a colleague of Emily's, a young woman whose presence lingered in my mind from the few school functions where our paths had crossed. She radiated joy, her laughter like a melody, and her youthfulness was a stark contrast to my own years. Recently divorced, Ava moved through life with a hopeful spirit that masked the deep ache I sensed within her. Emily had orchestrated Ava's presence for her inaugural hunting trip with me, convinced that this experience would awaken something profound within us both. I wouldn't face solitude, and Ava would embrace the opportunity to uncover something extraordinary. To express my doubts would barely scratch the surface of my feelings. I had anticipated the stillness, the serene mornings in the blind, and the intimate evenings by the fire, lost in my own reflections. Having an unexpected companion, particularly one so oblivious to the nuances of the outdoors, was never in the vision I had in mind. As Friday evening descended, I felt an irresistible pull guiding me into Ava's driveway. Emily had urged me to sound the horn, an act I would typically deem impolite, yet I found myself surrendering to her request. The front door creaked open, and Ava stepped out, bathed in the warm glow that poured from within the house. She carried the weight of her burdens, yet her radiant smile illuminated the twilight, hinting at a deeper longing beneath the surface. "Hi, Christopher," she called, her voice shimmering with an intoxicating allure. I stepped out of the truck, drawn by an irresistible urge to assist her with her belongings. What a captivating arrangement. I re-Christophered, my gaze lingering on the alluring stack of bags. Her laughter echoed, a sound both joyous and haunting, stirring something deep within. Emily urged me to arrive ready for what lay ahead. Perhaps I've crossed a line. As they drove toward the cabin, her voice wove a tapestry of tales, each word a brushstroke painting the complexities of her work, the heartache of her divorce, and the vivid moments that colored her existence. The unexpected intensity enveloped me, a thrilling deviation from the silence I had anticipated, and strangely, I found myself embracing it. Her presence ignited something deep within me, and I couldn't help but smile, even as I fought against my own reservations. As we reached the cabin under the enchanting moonlight, a sense of anticipation filled the air. I quickly set about bringing warmth and light to our surroundings, while Ava gracefully ascended to the loft, her presence igniting a spark of unspoken longing. As the flames danced and flickered in the wood stove, the cabin enveloped me in a cocoon of warmth and allure. I sank into the great room, the flickering images of an old war movie casting shadows on my thoughts, seeking solace in the familiar yet distant embrace of the screen. Yet, just as I started to lose myself in the moment, Ava's voice echoed down from the loft. "May I indulge in the shower for a moment?" she inquired. "Of course," I said, my eyes lingering on the screen, a world of unspoken yearnings drawing me in. Moments later, the soft, haunting creak of the spiral staircase reached my ears. My gaze was drawn to Ava as she glided past, her form barely concealed by a delicate towel. It clung to her, shifting with every subtle motion, revealing more than it concealed. My gaze held on far too long, a silent battle waging within me as I struggled to pull myself back to reality. This weekend promised to be filled with unexpected emotions and tantalizing secrets. As I lingered in the great room, attempting to immerse myself in the war movie flickering on the small TV, the vivid memory of Ava gliding down the stairs in that barely their towel haunted my thoughts. The soft glow of the cabin light danced upon her damp hair, illuminating the delicate sheen of her bare shoulders. It was a vision I had no right to cherish, yet it clung to my heart. I chastised myself, trying to dispel the swirling emotions within me. Ava was Emily's colleague, a friend even, and this trip was meant to be a simple lesson in hunting, nothing beyond that. The gentle cascade of water filled the air, intertwined with Ava's delicate melody, creating an atmosphere thick with unspoken longing. It was pure, almost joyful, yet it stirred a longing within me that I struggled to accept. I found myself drawn in, leaning forward in my chair, captivated by the intensity of the climactic battle scene that played out before me. Yet my thoughts drifted away. Ava, mere inches away, her voice a tantalizing whisper that seeped through the fragile barrier, igniting a rush of longing within me. A wave of longing washed over me, and I fought against the surge of emotions threatening to break free. After what seemed like an endless passage of time, the water finally ceased its relentless flow. The gentle hum faded into the delicate whisper of a towel being unfurled, accompanied by the subtle creak of the floorboards as Ava glided through the bathroom. I remained transfixed by the flickering screen, battling the urge to envision her presence just beyond that threshold. The movie came to a close, and I clutched the remote, desperately scanning the channels, yearning for a diversion from the tumult of my thoughts. As Ava stepped out, her hair clung to her skin, wrapped in a second towel, a moment of vulnerability and longing hanging in the air. She appeared revitalized, her cheeks radiating warmth as if kissed by the steam of the shower. Her smile radiated as she glided down the staircase, clad in navy blue shorts and a cropped white top that teased the boundaries of modesty. As she shifted, the fabric of her shirt slipped just enough to unveil a tantalizing glimpse of her sculpted midriff. "Are you ready for what tomorrow holds?" I inquired, striving to maintain an air of nonchalance. "Indeed," she exclaimed with a bright smile, lifting an empty jar of peanut butter as if it held a secret longing within. "Simply require this for future reference." I arched an eyebrow, a swirl of confusion washing over me, yet I chose to remain silent. She sank onto the sofa beside me, placing the jar delicately on the coffee table, a silent tension hanging in the air. The delicate aroma of her shampoo lingered in the air, an intoxicating blend of floral notes and sweetness that stirred something deep within. A wave of tension washed over me, amplifying the awareness of the confined distance that separated us. "I appreciate you inviting me this weekend," she said, her gaze locking onto mine. Her eyes shimmered with an undeniable intensity, radiating a warmth that stirred something deep within. Emily has painted such a vivid picture of this hunting experience, igniting a spark of anticipation within me. I can't wait to dive into this adventure and uncover its hidden depths. "Absolutely," I responded, masking my true feelings with a practiced grin. "It's a hidden gem, serene and teeming with life, inviting a sense of longing and exploration. You'll find it captivating." As she reclined, folding her legs beneath her, my gaze was irresistibly drawn to the alluring contour of her thighs. I averted my gaze in a rush, silently berating myself. This was proving to be more challenging than I had anticipated. For the next hour, we delved into the intricacies of hunting, our conversation laced with an undercurrent of unspoken longing. I guided her through the details of our morning adventure, sharing the essentials she'd require and the importance of embracing stillness in the blind. She absorbed every word, her heart racing as she engaged with curiosity and longing, her mind dancing with unspoken thoughts. Yet, there were moments when her eyes would hold mine a little longer, a delicate smile playing on her lips, leaving me in a state of wonder. It lingered in a space between innocence and longing, a connection that hinted at something deeper yet unspoken. As the flames danced in the wood stove, Ava stretched, her arms arching high above her head, a moment of longing igniting within her. The subtle shift of her body caused her top to inch up, unveiling a delicate trace along her lower back. I struggled to maintain my composure, the weight of unspoken feelings pulling at my attention, threatening to unravel my determination. In that moment, she rose, cradling the jar as she made her way to the loft, a sense of longing guiding her steps. With a heavy heart, she lingered at the foot of the stairs, whispering, "I think it's time to call it a night. Thank you once more, Christopher. This weekend has unfolded in such a beautiful way." "Good night," I whispered, captivated as she gracefully climbed the spiral staircase. My eyes lingered on her as she slipped away into the loft, the echo of her footsteps gradually vanishing into silence. Once more in solitude, I sank into the couch, releasing a deep sigh as the weight in my heart lingered, unyielding and heavy. An unsettling anticipation washed over me, hinting that this weekend was destined to unravel in ways I had never imagined. The morning light seeped through the curtains, and the relentless buzzing of my alarm pulled me from a dreamscape filled with longing and unspoken yearnings. The night lingered, shrouding the cabin in an unexpected chill that seeped into my bones. I rose from the warmth of my sheets, a chill coursing through me as my bare feet met the cool, unforgiving hardwood beneath. My thoughts lingered in a haze, remnants of a sleepless night weighing heavily on my mind. Visions of Ava gliding down the stairs the previous night, her unburdened spirit and radiant smile, clung to my mind, refusing to fade away. With a heavy heart, I tried to pull my thoughts back into the present. Today was a pursuit, a quest driven by something deeper, an unspoken yearning that lingered in the shadows. I hurriedly slipped into my lightweight thermal gear, layering it beneath my familiar camouflage hunting attire. As I emerged from my sanctuary, the delicate aroma of coffee wafting from the kitchen enveloped me, stirring something deep within. Ava seemed to be awake, or at least that was my impression. I reached out to the loft, seeking confirmation, my heart racing with anticipation. "Ava, it's time to awaken," I urged, my voice slicing through the tranquil embrace of the morning. Her drowsy reply emerged after a brief pause, tinged with an unspoken longing. "Just a moment, please." I immersed myself in the ritual of breakfast, the enticing aroma of bacon and eggs dancing in the air, awakening hidden longings within me. Cooking had never been my forte, yet I had managed to master a handful of uncomplicated dishes throughout the years. As the aroma of the meal enveloped the cabin, I sensed her approach on the winding staircase, each step echoing with unspoken longing. As I turned to face her, an unexpected rush of emotion seized me, leaving me momentarily breathless. Ava glided down the stairs, her bare skin illuminated by the soft light, each step deliberate and unhurried, embodying a serene confidence that felt both exhilarating and forbidden. Her damp hair caressed her face, and her skin radiated in the gentle light that seeped through the cabin's windows. I averted my gaze, heat rising to my cheeks, overwhelmed by a rush of feelings I thought I had buried deep within. "Good morning," she whispered, her voice a delicate melody, hinting at unspoken truths and hidden yearnings beneath the surface. "Morning," I whispered, my gaze fixated on the sizzling bacon, a rush of unspoken longing stirring within me. "You may want to wrap yourself in something warm. The chill in the air is quite biting." Her laughter floated through the air, a gentle yet tantalizing melody that stirred something deep within. "Oh, Christopher, why pretend to be so bashful? It's merely flesh." My grip tightened around the spatula, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within me as uncertainty clouded my thoughts. My heart raced as she glided by, reaching for a jar of peanut butter from the fridge. She leaned slightly over the counter, her back to me, exuding an air of confidence that made her state of undress all the more intoxicating. I struggled to focus on the stove, yet the urge to steal a glance was intoxicating. Honestly, I said, striving to maintain my composure, we're about to leave, and the chill will wrap around you like an uninvited embrace. With a hesitant breath, she pivoted, ascending the stairs once more, each step heavy with unspoken longing. All right, I'll put something on, she replied, casting a playful smile back at me. Rest assured I will be prepared. I exhaled a breath I hadn't known I was clutching, my head shaking slightly as I concentrated on arranging the food before me. When she descended once more, clad in her hunting attire, she appeared as if the earlier moment had been nothing but a fleeting shadow, erased from her reality. She took her plate and approached me at the table, her voice bubbling with anticipation for the day that lay before us. Yet, the electricity in the air was undeniable, especially for me. Each laugh, each smile she offered felt laden with an unexpressed longing, a tantalizing hint of what lay beneath the surface. It was impossible to tell whether she was challenging me or if this was simply her essence, free-spirited and unrestrained. Regardless of the circumstances, the pull was growing impossible to resist. Once the morning meal had settled, we packed the ATV with our essentials, ready to embark on an adventure that stirred something deep within us. Ava nestled against me, her arms encircling my waist, igniting a thrill as I turned the key in the ignition. The crisp morning air nipped at my skin, yet the undeniable heat of her presence enveloped me from behind, igniting a spark within that I couldn't ignore. She held on fiercely as we raced through the shadows of the woods, the ATV slicing through the night air. As we arrived at the hunting spot, I gently assisted her off the ATV, my heart racing as I placed the rifle in her hands. As we tread this path, I whispered, my voice barely above a breath. She nodded, a spark of longing flickering in her eyes. Guide me on this journey. As we wandered through the woods toward the blind, the stillness of the forest echoed the unspoken tension that lingered in the air between us. A haunting sensation lingered within me, as if I were on the brink of an exhilarating yet perilous journey, one that beckoned me to venture beyond the boundaries I had always respected. Yet, the way Ava's eyes flickered toward me when she believed I was oblivious, the subtle arch of her lips when a smile graced her face, felt like a secret dance between us, as if she was fully aware of the unspoken tension that lingered in the air. And somehow, I sensed this hunting trip held deeper significance beyond the mere pursuit of deer. The forest lay in a hushed embrace, a serene stillness that only the tender moments of dawn could unveil. Ava trailed closely behind, her presence igniting a thrill as we approached the hunting blind. With each step, her boots whispered against the fallen leaves, a delicate sound that barely disturbed the stillness around her. I stole a few glances in her direction, wanting to make sure she was right there with me, yet she radiated a confidence that suggested she was more than ready for the journey ahead. Her resolve shone brightly in her expression. Despite my efforts to remain focused, I found myself captivated by her swift transformation, a pull I couldn't resist. As we arrived at the secluded spot, I paused and faced her, a rush of unspoken feelings swirling between us. Text, this is it, I whispered, my heart racing as I pointed to the hidden sanctuary embraced by the trees. It may not be extravagant, yet it fulfills its purpose with a quiet intensity. Ava nodded, her eyes shimmering with a mix of thrill and longing. It's exquisite. I ascended the brief ladder and entered, keeping the door ajar for her, a silent invitation lingering in the air. She drew near, her essence enveloping the intimate space as she settled onto the bench beside me. The space felt intimate, perfectly suited for two souls, with delicate windows framing the enchanting view of the clearing beyond. The dawn broke softly, its gentle golden rays spilling over the trees, awakening a sense of longing within the stillness of the morning. It was a sight I had encountered many times before, yet this morning, it stirred something deep within me, awakening feelings I had long buried. I passed Ava her rifle, my voice barely above a whisper. Always prioritize your well-being. Ensure the barrel is directed away, and refrain from loading until the moment is right. She nodded, her gaze heavy with unspoken longing. Understood. I reclined against the wall, captivated by the way she shifted, a magnetic pull drawing me closer to the unspoken tension between us. Her movements were intentional, each one charged with a hidden intensity. For a moment, we lingered in quietude, the soft rhythm of our breaths the sole echo in the intimate confines. The atmosphere surrounding us was thick, charged not only with the thrill of the chase, but with an unspoken longing that lingered in the silence. I attempted to concentrate on the path before me, searching for any hint of life, yet my mind continually wandered back to Ava. She moved closer, her knee lightly grazing my own, igniting a spark of unspoken longing between us. My eyes drifted toward her, yet she appeared completely absorbed in the unfolding drama of the field. I tried to convince myself it was insignificant, just a fleeting moment, yet that gentle brush ignited a spark within me. I gritted my teeth, battling the overwhelming pull of my thoughts. Eventually, Ava shattered the stillness that hung between them. "It's so serene out here," she murmured, her voice a gentle caress. I acquiesced with a silent understanding. "That's one of the reasons I find myself drawn to it so deeply. Only you, the woods, and the stillness that envelopes everything." Her smile lingered, a fleeting connection in her gaze that quickly slipped away, leaving a whisper of longing in the air. "Thank you for guiding me back to this hidden place within myself. I understand it may not have been your initial preference, yet it holds significant meaning for me." A wave of uncertainty washed over me, leaving me momentarily speechless. "It's not an issue," I finally admitted. "Each person should have the chance to feel this deeply, if only for a fleeting moment." Time seemed to elongate, each second heavy with an unspoken longing that filled the space between us. I attempted to push it aside, immersing myself in the work before me. Then, from the shadows of my periphery, a flicker of movement drew my gaze. I softly urged Ava, directing her gaze toward the hidden glade. There I breathed softly, at the boundary of the woods. With a trembling hand, she lifted her rifle, her gaze locked onto my guiding finger, a silent tension hanging between us. A young stag emerged into the clearing, its modest antlers catching the light, a symbol of untamed potential and unspoken longing. It ventured forward with a hesitant grace, its head swaying gently as it inhaled the intoxicating scents that lingered in the atmosphere. "Hold your breath until it reveals its true self," I whispered, my words barely escaping my lips. "You crave that perfect moment, a precise connection that ignites something deep within." She nodded, her hands trembling with a mix of anticipation and longing as she prepared to take the shot. In that fleeting instant, time paused. The trees stood silent, the deer remained motionless, and my breath caught in a delicate balance. Then the rifle whispered its final promise. A wave of despair washed over me as the truth dawned on me. "No circular space for secrets?" I inquired softly. Ava's heart raced as she struggled with the lever, a sense of urgency flooding her veins, but the moment had slipped away, leaving her in a haunting stillness. The deer had dashed away, vanishing into the dense underbrush. With a heavy heart, she released a breath of exasperation, allowing the rifle to slip from her grasp. "I believed it was prepared," she confessed, her voice laced with unfulfilled longing. "It's all right," I whispered, my voice trembling with unspoken longing. "It unfolds. A new opportunity awaits you." She reclined, her head gently cradled against the wall, lost in a moment of introspection. "I feel so lost in my own thoughts." "I am not," I responded. "The pursuit requires dedication and skill. You'll find your way through it." The atmosphere in the blind transformed, as the initial thrill faded into a subtle, simmering discontent. Ava shed her jacket, her voice barely above a whisper as she lamented the warmth enveloping her. I attempted to concentrate on the serene surroundings, yet my mind continually drifted back to her, an intoxicating pull I couldn't resist. Her movements, her words, they were weaving a spell that was increasingly impossible to resist. As she sat next to me, shedding her thermal layers one by one, I felt a warmth that transcended the rising sun outside. The air was thick with tension, and I could feel my resolve slipping away, leaving me uncertain of how much longer I could maintain my composure. The atmosphere within the confines felt heavy, almost suffocating, as the morning sun ascended, casting its golden glow. Ava had discarded her jacket, revealing her undershirt and camouflage pants as she settled beside me, an electric tension hanging in the air between us. I struggled to concentrate on the clearing, my gaze sweeping over the tree line in search of any hint of movement. Yet the palpable tension in the confined space was growing increasingly difficult to overlook. My heart raced wildly, caught in a whirlwind of excitement that blurred the lines between the thrill of the hunt and the intoxicating presence of Ava beside me, her every subtle movement igniting a spark within me. "Do you often find yourself lingering here for hours on end?" she inquired, shattering the stillness that enveloped them. Essentially, I responded, my gaze fixed ahead. With a heavy sigh, she leaned back against the wall, feeling the weight of longing and the quiet thrill of anticipation that came with the chase. "I suppose I lack a certain patience," I mused with a soft chuckle. "It's a lesson that unfolds gradually, revealing layers of longing and passion that were once hidden away. Being out here reveals the beauty of pausing, of embracing the quiet moments." Her eyes met mine, a subtle smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Your ability to remain so composed is truly captivating. It brings a sense of tranquility." I found myself at a loss for words, simply nodding as I attempted to push away the unexpected heat her words ignited within me. She moved once more, this time shedding her thermal top, revealing a snug-fitting tank that embraced her form in a way that captivated my attention. My throat was parched, and I urged myself to turn away, yet it was as futile as attempting to evade the sun's relentless gaze. "Significantly improved," she whispered, releasing a breath as she leaned in, her body yearning to unfurl. "The air feels heavy, almost suffocating, as if it carries the weight of unspoken longings." "Yeah, well, the heat will fade once the sun sets," I murmured, fighting to maintain my attention on anything other than her. The silence lingered, thickening the atmosphere with an intensity that deepened with every heartbeat. Ava appeared to be unaware, or perhaps she was fully aware of the undercurrents swirling around her. She leaned back, allowing her head to sink into the wall's embrace, her eyes fluttering shut as a wave of longing washed over her. The delicate arch of her neck, the rhythmic rise and fall of her chest with every breath, it drove him wild. I felt a surge of tension coursing through me, my grip on the rifle tightening, as if it could anchor my swirling emotions. "Do you ever feel a deep sense of longing in this solitude?" she inquired unexpectedly, her tone gentle and filled with unspoken longing. My eyes widened, taken by surprise. At times, I found myself acknowledging it, yet it was woven into the very fabric of the journey. In solitude, the mind finds clarity and the heart begins to awaken to hidden truths. As she opened her eyes and turned to me, her gaze held a depth that stirred something long buried within. "The solitude is driving me to the edge of madness. It's not meant for just anyone," I replied with a subtle hint of longing. She paused, her gaze holding mine with an intensity that sent a thrill through me. Then she smiled, a spark of longing dancing in her eyes. "At least you have my presence to share in this moment." A nervous laugh escaped my lips, uncertainty swirling within me, as I pondered the direction of this unfolding moment. "Indeed, I suppose I do." Her smile deepened, and she drew closer, her voice softening to a tantalizing whisper. "Are you okay with this?" A wave of emotion surged within me, and I found myself shaking my head in disbelief. "Absolutely not." The distance that once separated us seemed to vanish, the air thick with an intoxicating tension that was almost too much to bear. Her hand glided softly, a fleeting touch that ignited a spark within me. It was a gentle caress, yet it ignited a spark deep within me. I faced her, poised to utter a thought, any thought to shatter the tension, yet the words remained trapped within me. "Thank you for leading me to this place. she murmured, her tone laced with a tender vulnerability. Though the absence of your wife casts a shadow, I find solace in our shared moments together. I took a deep breath, my heart racing as I nodded in response. It's all good. I'm truly grateful for your presence as well. The words hung in the air, thick with unspoken longing and a weight of significance that eluded my grasp. Ava smiled once more, her eyes holding mine for a moment longer before she shifted her attention back to the clearing. I attempted to mirror her actions, striving to direct my focus away, yet the boundary separating us had already started to dissolve. The line I had vowed to uphold was fading, and I found myself questioning whether I possessed the will to hold it back. The sun sank slowly, draping the treetops in a warm, golden glow, yet my mind was consumed by a deeper longing that overshadowed the enchanting beauty around me. Ava's presence beside me was intoxicating, her every movement drawing me in, igniting a longing I struggled to suppress. We lingered in quiet anticipation, hoping for another glimpse of a deer, yet the true intensity simmered not in the forest, but within us. It lay hidden in the shadows. She moved closer, her skin lightly grazing my own, igniting a spark of longing within me. The moment was fleeting, seemingly pure, yet it ignited a spark within me that I couldn't dismiss. I clenched the rifle tighter, urging my mind to focus on the moment, to push away the tumult of longing that threatened to overwhelm me. I regret missing that shot earlier, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, shattering the stillness that hung between them. It occurs, I responded, my tone rougher than I had meant it to be. At times, we all find ourselves yearning for something just out of reach. She faced me, her gaze filled with a deep intensity. Is there hope for me to experience that moment again? Our eyes locked, and in that fleeting moment, the world around us faded away. Perhaps, deer embody a wild unpredictability, a reminder that one must always remain prepared for the unexpected. She nodded, a subtle smile playing on her lips, hinting at unspoken longings. I truly appreciate your understanding and support during this time. I never anticipated this journey would stir such deep feelings within me. The way she uttered the word intense sent a thrill through my veins, igniting a longing I thought I had buried deep within. I turned my gaze, feigning interest in the expanse before me. It's an integral part of the journey. The stillness returned, heavy and charged, devoid of tranquility. The atmosphere crackled, heavy with the weight of unsaid emotions lingering in the space between us. Ava leaned forward, her heart racing as she adjusted her boot, a thrill coursing through her with each subtle movement. Her hair cascaded over her shoulder, a tantalizing whisper against my arm as she shifted closer. The warmth of her skin enveloped me, while the delicate fragrance of her shampoo hung in the atmosphere, igniting something deep within. I attempted to convince myself it was all in my head, just a fleeting fantasy. Yet when she looked at me, her gaze probing deep into my soul, everything shifted. You've been silent, she murmured, her tone filled with longing. What stirs your heart today? My heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of uncertainty as I grappled with my response. Simply, watching for the elusive grace of deer in the twilight. Her smile deepened, yet a hint of understanding flickered in her eyes. Your ability to deceive is painfully obvious, isn't it? A soft laugh escaped my lips, tinged with uncertainty as I shook my head, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. I promise I'm being truthful. She leaned in closer, her voice a sultry whisper that danced between them. Your mind wanders, and I sense it deeply. I stood still, my heart racing wildly within me. Eva. Her fingers brushed against my arm, a gentle yet intentional caress that sent shivers down my spine. There's no need for words, she whispered softly. The longing is palpable within me as well. My breath hitched in my throat. This was surreal, a dream that couldn't be real. Yet the intensity in her gaze and the softness of her caress were undeniable truths that stirred something deep within. The walls I had fiercely upheld were beginning to dissolve, and a hidden part of me yearned for their collapse. I turned my gaze, attempting to collect the swirling emotions within me. This feels so wrong, I whispered, my voice trembling with uncertainty. Perhaps, She whispered, her voice gentle, yet it doesn't seem like a mistake. Her words lingered, stirring a tempest within me, unraveling the very fabric of my self-perception. I felt the urge to create distance, to push her away, yet deep down, I knew that was the last thing I truly desired. After so long, a flicker ignited within me, a longing I had been unaware of, now awakening with an intensity that took my breath away. Eva. I started to speak, but her soft caress on my cheek hushed my words. It's all right, she murmured softly. In the silence that enveloped us, as the final whispers of daylight cast a warm glow across the horizon, I found myself at a crossroads, compelled to make a choice that stirred something deep within me. It was an unspoken choice, a deep, instinctual yielding to the magnetic force that drew us together. I leaned in, bridging the gap, and for the first time I allowed all constraints to dissolve entirely. As our lips intertwined, everything beyond the confines of that moment faded into oblivion. The chill of the silent woods, the allure of hidden creatures, all of it blurred into insignificance. Her kiss lingered in the air, tentative and charged, as if she were searching for a sign to retreat. Yet I found myself unable to pull away, drawn deeper into the moment. Instead, I found myself surrendering to the moment, my hands instinctively tracing her arms, then gliding to her back, drawing her nearer. In an instant, a wave of guilt crashed over me, overwhelming and consuming. My wife's face danced in my thoughts, her trust and steadfast faith in me. Yet Ava's gentle sigh brushed against my lips, her fingers caressing the nape of my neck, and in that instant, all reason melted away into the intoxicating embrace of the moment. This feels so wrong, I murmured, pulling away from the kiss yet holding her tightly against me. Our foreheads touched softly, and I felt the warmth of her breath caressing my skin. Perhaps, she whispered, her voice trembling, but does it truly feel like a mistake? I remained silent. How could I possibly resist? She was right. It felt undeniably right in a way that stirred something deep within. It was a rush, as if an unseen portal had swung wide, enveloping me in a wave of emotions long buried and forgotten. A fragment of my being yearned to close that door tightly, to retreat into the comfort of my meticulously crafted existence. Yet, another part, the one that had been dormant for far too long, craved to uncover the mysteries waiting beyond. She hesitated for a moment, her eyes probing deep into my soul. If you want me to stop, you need to say it now, she said, her voice heavy with unspoken longing. But if you choose not to, she let her words linger, placing the weight of the decision upon me. My gaze lingered on her, my heart racing with a fervor that felt almost palpable, as if it could echo in the silence between us. Her gaze was devoid of ill intent, free from deceit, yet it carried a silent fragility that resonated deeply with my own heart. It was a fleeting instant, heavy with unspoken longing, and I understood that whatever path I took, there would be no turning back. I don't want you to stop, I heard myself say, my voice trembling with a mix of longing and urgency. Her lips formed a gentle smile as she leaned closer, her hands tenderly cradling my face. This time, the kiss was filled with longing and urgency. It was profound, intentional, and brimming with a fervor that sparked a flame within me I believed had long been snuffed out. My hands traced her waist, drawing her nearer until every gap vanished, leaving only the heat of our connection. We lingered in that moment, time slipping away as the outside world faded into oblivion. Each caress, each hushed confession, each furtive look ignited a spark, imbued with the awareness that we were treading on sacred ground, a boundary that once crossed could never be undone. Yet, in that fleeting instant, nothing else mattered. After what felt like an eternity, a spark ignited within me, awakening feelings of being truly noticed, desired, and vibrantly alive. As the chill crept in, she pressed closer, trembling against my warmth, igniting a spark of longing between us. I hesitated to let go, my fingers lingering on her hips, caught in a moment that felt both thrilling and wrong. We should head back, I said, my voice trembling with unspoken longing. She nodded, a flicker of hesitation in her eyes, as if caught in a moment suspended between longing and restraint. In that moment, she leaned into me, her head finding solace on my shoulder, her arms encircling me with a warmth that was both reassuring and fiercely protective. "I can't bear the thought of this being over," she whispered, her voice trembling with longing. "It needn't be that way," I found myself saying, the confession escaping my lips before I could hold it back. The depth of their significance enveloped me, yet I felt no remorse for them. Not just yet. We adorned ourselves in quietude, the air thick with an unspoken longing that pulsed between us. As we journeyed back to the cabin, my heart raced with each stolen glance at her. The way her hair danced in the waning light, the enchanting curve of her smile when our eyes met, igniting a spark of something unspoken. The guilt lingered, a shadow in the recesses of my thoughts, yet it couldn't dim the fervent glow blossoming within my heart. In the dim light of the cabin, where the fire whispered secrets and shadows twirled in a haunting ballet, she sat before me, her eyes a deep well of mystery, unwavering and enigmatic. "This transforms everything, doesn't it?" Her voice was a gentle whisper, laced with unspoken longing. I nodded, captivated, my gaze locked in a trance. "Indeed, it does." The stillness that enveloped us was thick, laden with hidden anxieties and truths left unvoiced. Yet, beneath the surface, there lingered an unarticulated truth, a force that could not be ignored. A bond ignites, a flame flickers, a journey unfolds. In that instant, I realized that retreat was no longer an option. The cabin held an intimate stillness, broken only by the soft, flickering whispers of the fire. Ava sat across from me, her hands cradling a mug of tea, her gaze lost in the flickering flames, as if they held secrets only she could understand. The air was thick with unspoken feelings, her shoulders tense as she furtively cast her gaze in my direction, unaware of the fire igniting between us. The heaviness of our actions hung in the air, palpable and stifling, a reminder of the passion we dared to explore. The morning's events haunted my thoughts, the warmth of her skin against mine, the way her lips had brushed against me, igniting a fire within that I couldn't ignore. But now, as the weight of our decisions settled in, the exhilaration gave way to a profound heaviness. Longing, trepidation, uncertainty. It was time to speak. I finally confessed, shattering the stillness that enveloped us. Her gaze met mine, a veil of mystery cloaking her emotions. "I understand," she whispered, gently placing her mug on the table. "Yet, I find myself lost in the depths of uncertainty, unsure of how to embark on this journey." I leaned in closer, my elbows pressing against my knees as I tangled my fingers through my hair, lost in a whirlwind of feelings. What transpired in that moment, it must never unfold again. Her lips pressed together, and for a fleeting instant, I sensed the tension of an unspoken conflict brewing within her. Yet, in that moment, she nodded, her eyes falling to her trembling hands. "I understand," she whispered softly. Deep down, I was aware of the transgression, even as the moment unfolded around me. Yet, her words faded into silence, a tremor of longing in her voice. "But why?" I leaned in softly, yearning to hear her voice reveal the truth. She lingered, her fingers trembling as they danced along the hem of her sleeve. Yet, it resonated deeply within her. She confessed, her voice a fragile murmur. It was as if a piece of my soul had been absent for ages, and I couldn't bear to release it. Her words struck me with an intensity that left me breathless, as I grasped the depth of their meaning. For years, I had immersed myself in the monotony of daily life, weighed down by duties and expectations, all the while neglecting the deep yearning that quietly consumed me. In those fleeting encounters with Ava, the emptiness within me found solace. For a fleeting moment, yet brimming with intensity, it resonated deeply within me as well. I confessed, my voice barely above a whisper. Yet that doesn't justify it. We have ventured into uncharted territory. Ava, a boundary that remains forever etched in our hearts. In that moment, she gazed up at me, her eyes glistening with the weight of unspoken emotions. Do you feel remorse for what has transpired? She inquired, her voice quivering with unspoken longing. I paused, the inquiry piercing through my thoughts more profoundly than I had anticipated. Did I feel remorse for it? Indeed, I felt the weight of my choices, the shadows of deceit, and the inevitable heartache that would follow if the truth were to emerge. Yet, the instant we shared, the bond one experienced with her was far more difficult to articulate. With a heavy heart, I expressed my remorse for the situation. I feel a deep sense of sorrow for the implications this holds for my marriage and for the bond you share with my wife. Yet, I cannot sit here and express remorse for finally experiencing the thrill of being truly alive after so many years. Her tears cascaded down, and she hurriedly brushed them aside, her lips forming a tight, resolute line. I never intended to complicate your life, she whispered, her voice trembling with unspoken longing. I believed this journey would solely revolve around the thrill of the chase, the excitement of uncovering something unfamiliar. She paused, a flicker of surprise crossing her face, shaking her head in disbelief. Neither did I murmured, my voice thick with unspoken longing. Yet here we stand, caught in the tension of what lies ahead, yearning to navigate the path forward. Because if this were to be revealed, I found myself unable to continue, the weight of unspoken truths hanging in the air. The mere idea of my wife uncovering the aftermath that would ensue was an unbearable weight on my heart. Ava nodded, her expression heavy with unspoken longing. She vowed to guard it within her heart, a secret wrapped in longing. Let it remain a secret. And it remains so, I declared with conviction. Every moment counts, every choice weighs heavy. This is where it all stops. She felt a rush of conflicting emotions, her heart racing as she nodded once more. I see where you're coming from. Silence enveloped us, heavy with unspoken thoughts and lingering glances. The fire crackled softly, the logs surrendering to the embrace of the flames, each shift a whisper of longing and transformation. I gazed into the glowing remnants, contemplating how a flame that once blazed with such intensity could diminish so swiftly, leaving nothing but a trail of sorrowful remnants behind. In that moment, Ava rose, embracing herself tightly as she faced the staircase, a whirlwind of feelings swirling within her. Text, I believe it's time for me to retire for the night, she murmured, her eyes avoiding mine. I watched her climb the spiral staircase, each step a delicate dance, purposeful yet filled with an unspoken longing. As she vanished into the loft, a tremor of longing coursed through me, and I found myself collapsing into my hands, overwhelmed by the weight of unspoken feelings. The burden of the day enveloped me, heavy and inescapable, stirring something deep within that I dared not acknowledge. I understood that the past was unchangeable, yet I realized it would not be the measure of my essence. Everything I held dear, my marriage, my family, my very sense of self, hung in the balance. The allure of what could have been whispered sweetly in my ear, but I knew I had to resist. I couldn't let a fleeting moment of weakness shatter the life I had painstakingly crafted. As I gazed into the flickering embers, a quiet promise formed within me. This would be the final moment I surrendered to my longings, allowing them to eclipse my reason. The moment I dared to gamble everything I held dear. Yet, as I uttered that vow, a whisper of doubt curled within me, questioning whether I possessed the resolve to honor it. As I reflect on the past, a profound realization washes over me, stirring deep emotions within. Every choice we make, however momentary or fueled by passion, inevitably leaves its Christopher. In life, the lines we draw hold profound significance. The allure can be intoxicating, yet it's crucial to look past the immediate thrill and reflect on the potential heartache it might bring to those we hold dear. Trust and loyalty, once shattered, become delicate remnants of what they once were, often beyond the reach of restoration. When faced with a void or unfulfilled desires in a relationship, the most genuine approach is to confront those feelings honestly, rather than chasing temporary escapes beyond the bond. The price of deceit weighs heavily on the soul, while the tranquility of an unburdened heart is beyond measure.